I want to talk to you today about something very important. See that word right there? Testament. This word testament can be used interchangeably with covenant. And it's very important that we recognize that the New Testament is the establishment and understanding of the new covenant. Look at this guy.
Hey, we're in the same shirt.
Hey, if you want to pick up one of these, we'll put a link down below. Everything that is written through the lens of the Spirit. There is nothing in the new covenant, nothing whatsoever, not even 1 ounce of things written in the new covenant that have to do with men doing something. The works of men are absolutely finished. When Jesus died, he finished all works of humanity. He worked them perfectly. The new covenant has within it commands. And these commands sometimes are misconstrued in the minds of people, thinking, well, now in the new covenant, we have new commands. But if we don't understand that the new covenant is the life filled with and empowered by, led by the Spirit, then we will begin to see these things, these commands, as exchange for old covenant commands. So the old covenant had its commands and the new covenant has its commands. It is not this way, and it is important for this to be completely destroyed. There is nothing for you to do in the new covenant. As a matter of fact, God doesn't want you to do anything in the new covenant. What he's looking for is for those who will yield to his Spirit, so that his Spirit can work in and through the image of Jesus. What it means is when you have a command in the new covenant, that command, it is a description of how the soul must yield to the Spirit for the Spirit to fulfill this thing. It is not a command for man to act. It is a command for man to yield so that the Spirit can come out, so that the commands in the New Testament are descriptive acts of the Spirit when a man yields. And they work out practically, and sometimes because they're so practical, they lose their spiritual animation. And we think that we've got to do all these things and just kind of ask the Holy Spirit to help us. Or we're to do these things and the Spirit does these things. Listen, your part in the new covenant is only to yield. I just keep finding in different teachings that I'm hearing and things that I'm reading that the Holy Spirit is completely forgotten, and that the new covenant is becoming a old covenant again, just with different language, where we have to approach God by things that we do. We're trying to clean up our lives and get ourselves purified so that we can approach the Lord. And this stuff is absolutely ridiculous. The new covenant is this. Jesus has finished it. Yield to the Spirit who has filled you, and he will perform the thing himself. So the new covenant is clear. He puts his Spirit within you, and he performs the thing himself. He causes you to walk in his ways, puts right desires in your heart. That's the beauty of the new covenant. I'm heading right now to see my dad, have lunch with him for Father's Day. 3 things I learned from my dad. Number 1, to be grateful for everything. Number 2, to forgive everybody. And number 3, to put other people above yourself. And pray that my life will teach the same things to my kids.
What do we think?
Good. Really good. Good.
So just to explain a little further about what I'm saying concerning the new covenant and your everyday life, there are 2 sides to this thing. The first side is your side. The second side is God's side. The best way to illustrate this is if I asked you to pick me up a coffee and you said, I'll get a coffee for you, I would cease concern of getting the coffee and trust you to get the coffee. My job is to trust you. Your job is to get the coffee. So it is with the spiritual life and the commands that come through the scriptures. Your job is to recognize God desires this from you and you are unable to do it. So you trust Him to do the work. Your side is only to put all your trust and dependence in Him and keep it there. And His job is to work the work. This is the secret of a genuinely spiritual life. This is snuggle, don't struggle. This is beholding instead of just behaving. This is the secret of living out the spiritual existence, the Spirit's existence through your life. This is the image of Jesus. God doing all things through the man. I hope that clarifies things for you, and I pray that God would help you get out of all efforts and all strivings and all tryings and all seeking to perform the work that only the gardener can perform. You don't garden yourself, you let the gardener perform his work. It's ridiculous to think that the lilies of the field try to clothe themselves. They do not. They literally bask in the sun and receive what He gives to them. As far as rain, and in time, God causes the clothing. This is how it is granted unto the bride to clothe herself, not to try to do something herself, but the righteous acts of the saints are yielding to God so that God can clothe you like He clothes the lilies of the field. You cannot add one measure to your own self. Today you trust, and He does the work. This is the real spiritual life. God bless you guys. We went on a short family vacation, and I was able to practice my camera skills, put together a couple clips just to show you guys. Check it out. So I was talking with Chris earlier and also Michael yesterday, and we have made a decision in our hearts to say things in a way that make it impossible to forget Jesus. It must be to Jesus, for Jesus, through Jesus. It must be about Jesus. It must be experiencing Jesus. It must come from an experience of Jesus. It has to be all and only Him that does the work, because we find people are getting rubbed raw and they're getting tired and worn out by efforts and strivings and religious games, and Jesus alone will give us rest, and it's the key. So we got a couple events coming up real soon. Chris and I wanted to just tell you a little bit about them. If you're going to be in any of these areas, you should come out and join us. It's going to be a wonderful time. So where are we at?
Yeah, so June 30th, Eric's going to be in Morgan Hill, California. And we'll put up all the links in the descriptions and stuff. But June 30th, Eric will be in Morgan Hill, California. And then on July 12th through the 15th, Eric's going to be in Gonzales, Louisiana at the Edge Church with Pastor Tyrone Gray. And then in Ontario, Canada, July the 18th through the 21st, Eric's been invited to the Jubilee Conference in Ontario. And we have our School of His Presence, Calhoun, Georgia, taking place August 3rd. You don't want to miss that. And then if you're in Big Rapids, Michigan, August the 17th, Eric's got a school, and we look forward to seeing you there. And if you're in the Kentucky area, in Lexington, we have a School of His Presence taking place August the 24th. And on September the 13th through the 15th, Eric's been invited to a conference in Mastic Beach, New York. And let's see, okay. September the 20th and the 21st, Eric's going to be in Bath in the United Kingdom with Liz Wright. In Harrow, United Kingdom on the 24th and 25th of September, Eric's got an event there as well. We have Eric's been invited to the School of Evangelism September the 30th through the 4th of October, and it's in Orlando, and encourage you to sign up for the School of Evangelism with Evangelist Daniel Kalenda.
We also have the School of His Presence Orlando that we're hosting.
Absolutely.
What's the date of that?
I didn't even mention
What's
it.
the date of that?
It's July 27th.
July 27th. And there's a couple ways you can sign up. You can do a regular sign up, but then there's also a premier package. And what do they get? They get
Yep, so with the premier package, like it's you get a shirt of your size. You get the Sonship Journal, which it looks sick. It's like a beautiful leather Sonship International Journal. And then you get a book that comes with that, and VIP seating. But you have to register today or soon, because we only have 40 slots open for that premier ticket. So you got to register quick.
Yeah, that's going to be a blast. The Orlando schools are wild. We have Jackie Baker that's going to lead us in worship. And also we're going to have John Daniels coming down to help lead in worship, and his wife Leah. Yeah. It's going to be amazing, guys. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss this. It's going to be very much like Keswick, a deeper Christian life experience. What else we got?
And then in Camden, Arkansas, we have a School of His Presence taking place there on October the 5th. And also on October the 16th, we got a School of His Presence in Budapest, Hungary. Excited about that. That's going to be great. And there's also a conference there as well. And then we have a School of His Presence taking place. I'm sorry, we have LCU. Eric, you're going to be ministering at Lifestyle Christianity University on October 30th and the 31st. And in November the 7th through 9th, we got London, UK, with, I believe that is with David Harris. So David Harris, if you're watching, you know, Eric's excited to be there. And then in Ilford, November 10th and 11th, we have a School of His Presence with Pastor Phil Shaw in Cambridge, United Kingdom. And then in Ilford, United Kingdom, on the 16th of November, we have an event with CFAN United Kingdom. It's going to be awesome. And then finally, we wrap up the year with Jesus 19, and that's going to take place December 29th through January 1st of 2020. And if you want to do a School of His Presence, we have open availability next year. If you're wanting to invite Eric, I encourage you to email me, sonshipintl@gmail.com, and we have some slots that are open next year. So it's gonna be good.
Matthew chapter 6, verse 6. Jesus speaks to us about prayer. And he says, when you pray, go into your most private room, and closing the door, pray to your Father who sees in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you in the open. This actual text is what the entire course is going to be driving home. We must spend time with God. We're going to talk practically about how to experience Him, experiencing and enjoying God from the Scriptures. Thank you so much for signing up. I know the Lord is going to do something incredible in your life.